This is Nightline and I'm Muhammed Hamdan, news making the headlines. National Recovery Council proposes reopening of borders by January next year. And Malacca state election, Pakatan National to only announce its CM candidate if it wins. Good morning. The National Recovery Council, or MPN, on Thursday proposed for the country's borders to be reopened to foreign visitors on January 1st next year at the latest. Its chairman, Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, said this is in order to expedite the economic recovery of the country, especially the tourism sector. According to Tan Sri Muhyiddin, the Special Committee on Pandemic Management, chaired by Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, would identify the countries, especially those with high rates of complete vaccination against COVID-19 and have managed to control the transmission of the coronavirus, to be allowed entry to Malaysia.
Mesyuarat juga mengambil maklum mengenai situasi sektor pelancongan negara yang menyaksikan pemulihan yang agak perlahan disebabkan ketiadaan pelancong antarabangsa yang masuk ke negara ini selain operator sektor ini yang memerlukan masa dan sumber untuk memulakan perniagaan mereka.
He added, after chairing the MPN's fifth meeting in Putrajaya, the decision to open the borders was also prompted by the excellent performance of the National Immunisation Programme, which saw 95% of the adult population had been fully vaccinated so far. Tan Sri Muhyiddin also said that the country's tourism sector will suffer losses of almost 90 billion ringgit if the borders were to remain closed. Other countries like Germany, Switzerland, the United Kingdom and the United States, despite still struggling with COVID-19, had already allowed entry to travellers from Malaysia as most of their people were fully vaccinated. The MPN also proposed for more efficient contact tracing system through the adoption of technology to curb the COVID-19 infection as the country moves towards the endemic phase. The Council agreed that full implementation of the updated system would begin latest by January next year. The National Defence and Security Industry Policy is expected to be launched in a month or two. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the launch of the policy will strengthen the country's defence industry, which is one of the main focuses of the Defence Ministry. Datuk Sri Ismail said the ongoing National Defence and Security Industry Policy will provide comprehensive guidance on reducing dependence on assets and equipment from abroad.
Kita akan lancarkan dasar industri pertahanan yang kita jangka mungkin 1-2 bulan lagi. Jadi bertepatanlah lawatan ini untuk kita lihat bagaimana kita boleh bekerjasama dengan pihak Indonesia dari segi industri pertahanan.
He told this to the media after visiting PT Pindad's military equipment production facility in Bandung at the end of his 3-day official visit to Indonesia. During the visit, Datuk Sri Ismail was accompanied by Foreign Minister Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah, as well as Senior Defence Minister Datuk Sri Hishamuddin Tun Hussein and his Indonesian counterpart Prabowo Subianto. PT Pindad is a state-owned company involved in the production of military and commercial wares and a major supplier of armaments and ammunition for the Indonesian National Armed Forces and other uniformed bodies. The facility in Bandung covers an area of 66 hectares, with the largest facility in Malang in East Java covering an area of 166 hectares. Pakatan National PN will only announce its candidate for the Chief Minister post if the coalition wins the Malacca state election. Bersatu Information Chief Datuk Wan Saiful Wan Jan, who said this, however, assured that PN will choose the best candidate for the post.
Fokus kita ialah untuk memenangi pilihan raya negeri dahulu dan kemudian baru kita akan bincangkan dan umumkan. Saya rasa kita serahkan urusan pelantikan atau penamaan calon ketua menteri itu di peringkat pimpinan tertinggi dan saya rasa mungkin tak sesuai untuk kita di peringkat sini untuk umumkan sekarang. Sebenarnya perbincangan itu telah berlaku. Perbincangan telah berlaku dan kita ada idea lah mengenai siapa yang akan dinamakan. Tapi saya rasa lebih baik kalau sekiranya itu dibuat oleh pimpinan tertinggi. Boleh ya?
Datuk Wan Saiful was responding to rumours that Deputy Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Parliament and Law, Datuk Mas Ermiati Samsudin, would be the first woman to be appointed as Melaka Chief Minister if PN wins in the election. The Masjid Tanah Bersatu Division Chief is contesting the Tanjung Bidara seat in the upcoming state election. Another candidate set to be in the running is Bersatu Vice President and State Party PN Chairman Datuk Muhammad Rafiq Naiza Mohidin, who is contesting for the Teluk Mas state seat. Earlier, Barisan Nasional named Datuk Sri Sulaiman Mat Ali as the coalition's candidate, while Pakatan Harapan endorsed its state chairman Adli Zahari, as both had served as Melaka chief ministers. Over at the Parliament, Pakatan Harapan continued urging the Election Commission EC to review the standard operating procedures SOPs for the Melaka state election campaign. In making the call, both PKR and DAP stressed that the SOPs were restricting their candidates from meeting voters and delivering their message to them.
Dan mungkin salah satu masalahnya ialah kerana mereka yang menetapkan SOP ini, mereka tidak berpijak di bumi yang nyata. Mereka tidak turun melihat sendiri keadaan on the ground. Mereka buat keputusan dan buat SOP dari meja mesyuarat. Tak bolehlah macam ni. Jadi saya minta pihak MPN turun, tengok sendiri dekat, turun ke Melaka, tengok sendiri bagaimana SOP ini berjalan, tak berjalan ataupun berlaku satu kekangan. Kemudian kita terima bagaimana di bilik gerakan Dewan Undangan Negeri Pai Rumput bagi keadilan, bagi Pakatan Harapan, hampir 3 kali sehari pihak polis datang untuk membuat pemantauan SOP.
Saya tak tahu sama ada SPL tu dia betul-betul bertindak secara bebas ataupun dia dipengaruhi. Sehingga kan dia mengadakan banyak tema-tema sedemikian yang sukar untuk kita ikut. Kita faham, sekarang ada pandemik COVID-19, kita perlu berhati-hati. Tetapi sepatutnya SPL perlu adakan satu SOP yang lengkap di mana boleh memberi peluang kepada semua untuk menyampaikan mesej mereka kepada pengundi. Ini tidak dilakukan oleh SPL.
Among the activities that candidates are not allowed to do during the campaigning period are going on walkabouts, holding political ceramah, door-to-door visits and putting up posters on bridges. Kuantan Member of Parliament Fuzia Saleh said some party workers were also not allowed to wear clothing that has the party logo outside, even when dining in at restaurants or eateries. The Prime Minister launched the Agenda National Malaysia Sihat ANMS on Thursday as preparation to help keluarga Malaysia face and cope with the endemic phase of COVID-19. Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri said it is aimed at cultivating a healthy lifestyle and promoting environmental sustainability to support the health and well-being of the people.
Bagi menjayakan ANMS, kerajaan mengambil pendekatan whole of nation, iaitu keseluruhan negara dengan menjalinkan kerjasama yang erat dengan semua pihak untuk bergerak sebagai rakan strategik. Kerajaan bertanggungjawab merangka hala tuju, strategi dan inisiatif ANMS manakala pihak swasta dan badan bukan kerajaan NGO adalah penggerak kepada strategi serta usaha yang telah dirangka atau inisiatif yang diperkenalkan.
When launching the ANMS, which was broadcast on TV1 on Thursday morning, Datuk Sri Ismail also said the agenda is for a period of 10 years from 2021 to 2030. He revealed that the ANMS was also one of the main foci in the 12th Malaysia Plan, especially in improving the delivery of healthcare services. The Prime Minister added a national health literacy policy will be drawn up, which would implement several initiatives, including the organisation of healthcare awareness programs, which will be intensified through various platforms and at all levels under various agencies. Meanwhile, Khairi Jamaluddin said Malaysia is seen as an unhealthy country, considering the number of people suffering from heart disease and obesity is high. The Health Ministry also said that health awareness among the people was still at a low level.
Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia melancarkan Agenda National Malaysia Sihat ini sebagai satu gerakan massa. Bukan hanya kerajaan tetapi seluruh masyarakat. Apa yang disebut sebagai whole of society approach, pendekatan seluruh masyarakat untuk meningkatkan kesedaran mengenai kesihatan. Bukan hanya kesihatan fizikal tetapi juga kesihatan mental dan juga kesihatan global.
Khairi said this when appearing as a guest on TV1 Selamat Pagi Malaysia program in conjunction with the launch of the ANMS. He also highlighted that most COVID-19 patients have pre-existing comorbidities or chronic diseases, which contributed to the number of deaths due to the virus. Khairi added that 1 in every 2 people in Malaysia are obese and overweight, while 1 in 4 do not practice physical activity. The minister also said only 1 out of 20 Malaysians maintain healthy eating, while 500,000 adults in the country are suffering from depression. He also pointed out that based on the Health Ministry survey, 95% of respondents said they were ready for the endemic phase, but based on observations, the SOP compliance rate was seen to be declining. As such, in realizing the ANMS initiative, he stressed that Malaysians need to make a behavioral change voluntarily and increase awareness to create a healthy nation without having to rely on the Health Ministry or the government. Another 48 COVID-19 cases involving the variant of concern VOC, which is the Delta variant, were detected in 3 states on Thursday. Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah said it is the result of an ongoing study of the Integrative Pharmacogenomics Institute of University Technology MARA, or I-PROMISE UITM. 34 cases were reported in Pulau Pinang, 12 cases in Pahang, while 2 cases in Perlis. This brings the total VOC cases nationwide to 3,810, with 3,570 Delta variants, 226 cases of the Beta variants, and 14 cases of the Alpha variants. Meanwhile, 6,323 new COVID-19 cases and 4 new clusters were recorded on Thursday. 98.5%, or 6,226 new cases, fall into categories 1 and 2, while 97 cases, or 1.5%, are in categories 3 to 5. Coming up, smuggling heroin in fish barrels to Hong Kong. International syndicate busted. Stay tuned.
Datuk Sri Muhammad Nazir Tun Razak on Money Matters this Saturday at 5 p.m. only on TV3.
Welcome back. The ongoing collaboration between the Institute for Medical Research, MRI, and Veterinary Research Institute, VRI, is expected to develop more vaccine-related discoveries, including for COVID-19 and animal diseases in the country. Agriculture and Food Industry Minister Dr. Sri Ronald Kiandi said VRI, which has laboratory service facilities for the study of the coronavirus vaccine, is expected to move forward with more findings to benefit all parties and industry players.
Pusat ini mempunyai kemudahan untuk membuat berbagai kajian untuk penyakit haiwan, dan ketika ini akan berkolaborasi dengan MRI untuk membuat preclinical study on vaksin yang sedang dibangunkan oleh MRI.
Dr. Sri Ronald said this after visiting the VRI facility in Ipoh Perak on Thursday. Previously, it was reported that the government was collaborating to develop a messenger ribonucleic acid mRNA vaccine through negotiation with the University of Pennsylvania in the United States and University of Chulalongkorn in Thailand. The negotiations were currently in Phase 2 and 3 of clinical studies and emphasize the transfer of technology and expertise. The Human Resources Ministry will conduct a study on a new policy to protect the rights and interests of gig economy workers. Its Minister, Dr. Sri M. Saravanan, said the move is in line with the government's efforts to develop the industry for the future.
Kita lihat satu cabaran lebih besar daripada COVID-19 di mana industri revolusi 4.0 akan menggantikan pelbagai perniagaan yang sedia ada. Sebab itu hari ini kita lihat Jepun dah mula mengkaji apakah peluang-peluang pekerjaan akan hilang dalam pembangunan industri revolusi 4.5. Maka Kementerian Sumber Malaysia sedang memperhalusi dan meneliti langkah-langkah policy supaya kita memberi satu perlindungan seperti pekerja-pekerja lain. Maka saya bagi kepada jaminan yang berhormat, saya sebagai Menteri Sumber Malaysia cukup prihatin terhadap pekerja-pekerja gig ekonomi, dan Kementerian sedang mengkaji dalam masa terdekat kita akan membentang dalam Malaysia ini satu dasar baru untuk mempertahankan hak mereka.
Previously, Dr. Sri Saravanan said his ministry was looking into the need for a law specifically to regulate gig workers and protect their welfare, as the group, comprising of self-employed individuals, is not covered by the Employment Act. It was reported that Malaysia has about 4 million freelance workers, and the number was expected to increase as gig jobs were becoming more attractive due to the rise of digital platforms, especially since the COVID-19 pandemic started. Moving on, police have crippled an international drug trafficking syndicate which had been smuggling drugs using frozen fishes exported to Hong Kong. This after authorities arrested 12 locals, including a woman aged between 36 and 53, and seized 20.4 kilograms of heroin worth 1.9 million ringgit following 4 separate raids in Pekan Nanas and Gelang Patah in Johor and Kajang Selangor on Saturday. Bukit Aman Narcotics Criminal Investigation Department NCID Director Datuk Razaruddin Hussein said police believe that the suspects have ties to drug syndicates in Hong Kong and had been active for nearly a year. The syndicate received their drug supply from a neighbouring country up north, and their modus operandi was to hide the drugs under frozen fishes and ice packed in polystyrene boxes, which were then sent to Hong Kong via air cargo. Initial investigation revealed the syndicate had used a licensed company to deliver the drugs without its knowledge and had been successful for 8 times before their last shipment involving 3 million ringgit worth of heroin was intercepted by Hong Kong authorities on October 26. Police also seized valuables and assets belonging to the syndicate worth over 700,000 ringgit. All of the suspects, including 2 who are members of an active secret society in Johor, have been remanded until Saturday to assist investigations under the Dangerous Drugs Act. In Pulau Pinang, 2 factories, each processing bread and soy sauce in Butterworth, were ordered to be closed for 2 weeks due to failure to comply with hygiene standards and aspects of safety and food quality set. The factory operator was also slapped with a compound of 9,000 ringgit. The raid was carried out by the Food Safety and Quality Division of the State Health Department at a bread processing factory in Raja Uda. The team found a dirty bread tray with oil dripping on bread dough, which could cause contamination or food poisoning. The operator of the premises was ordered to shut the factory for 2 weeks.
Satu premis kita mendapati terdapat satu najis tikus. Okey, satu najis tikus dan kita mengeluarkan notis penutupan di bawah Seksyen 11. Kedua-dua premis kita tutup di bawah Seksyen 11 dan juga impak yang kita lihat dari sudut kebersihan iaitu PJKM iaitu Program Jaminan Keselamatan Makanan, di mana kedua-dua premis tidak mengamalkan program tersebut.
Meanwhile, in the second raid at the soy sauce processing factory in Bagan Ajam, the team found foreign materials such as dried leaves, animal and bird feathers, as well as twigs in a fiberglass barrel, which is a storage place for soybean marinade. Wazir said it is not impossible that other animal feces can also enter the barrel. The factory is also suspected of using recycled plastic bottles, and it is feared that it could pose a risk of contamination. The operator of the factory was issued a 5,000 ringgit compound. A 2-week notice to close operations was also issued in accordance with the Food Act 1983 for 14 days, effective Thursday. Heavy rains caused floods, landslides, 41 dead. We'll be right back with the details. Welcome back. Onto the foreign front. Beijing authorities have sealed off a mall and locked down several residential compounds over a COVID flare-up as the latest outbreak spread to the Chinese capital central districts. The mall's exits were closed and all staff and customers inside were not allowed to leave until they got tested. Videos shared on social media platform Weibo showed crowds of shoppers in masks lining up to be tested inside the shopping centre. Health officials said at a briefing that more than 280 close contacts have been identified, with almost 12,000 people screened for the virus in both Chaoyang and Haidian districts. 6 new cases were found Thursday morning, all close contacts of people infected recently in northeastern Jilin province. China has already curbed widespread transmission of the coronavirus through snap lockdowns, mass testing and travel restrictions. But authorities are on high alert after a nationwide spike linked to domestic travel in the past month. Heavy rains across southern India and Sri Lanka have killed at least 41 people as of Thursday, with weather forecasters expecting the downpours to ease in the next few days. The rains have killed 25 people in the island nation of Sri Lanka, most of whom drowned, while landslides injured 5. Meanwhile, in India, 16 people were killed in Tamil Nadu, where schools and colleges were closed and some train services suspended. Thousands of people have been displaced across the two countries and are being housed in dozens of security centres. Many parts of India's state capital, Chennai, were waterlogged, and government officials used pumps to drain some communities that had been stranded waist deep. India's northeast monsoon usually runs from October to December, bringing heavy rain, particularly to the south. However, this year, higher than usual rainfalls have been reported in most parts of the country. Tesla CEO Elon Musk has offloaded company shares worth $5 billion days after setting off a Twitter poll in which millions voted, asking whether he should sell 10% of his huge stake in the electric car maker. New regulatory filings showed Wednesday the billionaire, in fact the world's richest man with a net worth of around $300 billion, sold 4.5 million shares this week. However, they did not suggest the unconventional virtual referendum he issued on Saturday was behind the decision. A batch of shares worth $1.1 billion was sold on Monday in a bid to settle tax obligations after Musk exercised stock options. It was not clear if the remaining share sales worth around $4 billion notified on Tuesday and Wednesday were also planned ahead of the Twitter poll.
Maybe 4 weeks.
Gerrard, new Aston Villa manager. The details when we return. Sports football, the English Premier League. Aston Villa have appointed Gerrard as manager on a 3.5-year deal, ending his 3-year reign at Rangers. It was reported that Villa have paid Rangers about $6 million in compensation. Gerrard replaces Dean Smith, who was sacked on Sunday after a run of 5 successive defeats. Villa are the 16th in the Premier League, 2 points above the relegation zone. Gerrard's first match in charge will be at home to Brighton after the international break, with matches against top 4 sides Manchester City, Liverpool and Chelsea among those to follow before the end of 2021. The former England skipper left Scottish champions after guiding the club to their first league title in 10 years last season, as well as the club's first ever unbeaten league campaign. Moving on to tennis, the WTA finals. Carolina Pliskova overcame a slow start before beating Garbiñe Muguruza in her opening match at the season-ending tournament. In a contest between two former #1 ranked players, Pliskova struggled early and lost the first set 4-6. The third seed then regained her momentum and claimed the next two sets 6-2, 7-6. She now has a 9-2 record against former Wimbledon and French Open champion Muguruza. Pliskova is playing the WTA finals for the fifth time, having reached the semi-finals in 2018 and 2019. The 2020 tournament was cancelled. Now, a SpaceX rocket carried 4 astronauts toward orbit Wednesday night, including the 600th person to reach space in 60 years. The launch, which had been delayed nearly 2 weeks, puts the 1 German and 3 US astronauts at the International Space Station to begin in a 6-month stay. Let's take a look at the launch as we wrap up Nightline this time around. With that, I'm Muhammed. Hamdan. Thank you for watching and stay safe, Malaysia.